I'm from Black America. Just another year. You knew the disrespect by your elected puppeteers, but let me show you how to persevere.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Nitty Gritty Show. It's your boy, Jay Costa.
And your girl, Customz.
And together we are the Nitty Gritty. Look, they out here doing the most this holiday season. The most. I mean, there were so many different topics that Katrina and I was like, do we want to talk about this? Do we want to talk about that?
I was just throwing you a whole bunch of stuff.
There's a whole lot of stuff going on. I mean, and then I didn't even put on there the Brittany Griner trade.
Oh yeah, we want to talk about that. We got to talk about that a little bit. We do.
Yeah, I'll say it in the current news. I almost forgot about that one. That's how much is going on right now. The most, the absolute most, folks. Yo, welcome back to the Nitty Gritty Show. Thank you guys for watching. We got Clarksville, Tennessee in the building. Shout out to Herman Altar. I owe you a bass drop. There we go. Oh, you know what? Last time they said they really couldn't hear my bass drops. So you know what I'm going to do? Let me turn up my desktop volume just a little bit.
I think, yeah, turn it up.
There we go. I'm going to do another bass drop because last time they said they couldn't hear my bass drop. I think you can hear it this time. I think that's it right there. Yeah, let's go. All right. So, yeah, we're back. Shout out to our sponsor, been rocking with us the whole, basically second half of the year, just about. Plugged In Customz. Plugged In Customz is located here at 4910 Buchanan Street, Hyattsville, Maryland. You can reach them at 202-351-7348. If you need your tint done, you need your car painted, wrapped, you need to get your brakes done, oil change, detail. I'm talking about complete detail. They remove whole seats and everything. Go to Plugged In Customz to let them brothers take good care of you. They do great work. You can find them on... You can email them at Plugged In Customz. That's all one word, Customz with a Z. Or you can find them on IG at Plugged_In_Customz with a Z. They do great work. Check them brothers out, man. And they do great work because they're a great business. But by the way, they're a black business. So support them, all right? Shout out to Plugged In Customz and that team over there. Kenny and the team doing great work here in the Hyattsville area. They got people from Virginia all the way up to Delaware driving cars down there in a regular to get work done. So trust me, they do great work. Let's get into this current news, though.
Okay. Let's
all right, first one, shout out to the bruh, Raphael Warnock. He did win that runoff election in Georgia and solidify that. So shout out to Georgia.
Congrats.
I think you picked the right one for the job, baby. Okay?
You think he is better than Stacey Abrams would have been?
Well, Stacey Abrams didn't run for it.
I know, but I'm just curious. I think she really does have a heart for the people. And the way that she's able to the way that she was able to garner various people groups to go out and vote back when Biden was running was impressive to me. I know she didn't win, but as far as like the things that she says, the things that she stands for, in my opinion, she has a heart for the people. But for whatever reason, she doesn't make it to the final stage for running.
I mean, obviously she's not connecting to the people all the way. She can't get the votes. And I mean, there's a certain way you have to market yourself at the end of the day. It's hard to get into any office as a single person. 1. 2, looks matter. It's the reason why males have had to lose weight too. Well, y'all shocked that I said that? Like, come on, like everybody thinking it when you look at slim or not so slim, right? So I'm just saying.
Next topic.
You shouldn't have asked. You know what I mean? Like, Nicole said she loved your jacket.
Thank you.
Another bass drop for Herman.
He
said he paused Top Boy for us. I so much appreciate that because Top Boy is a great show. Little background information for those that don't know about Top Boy or my dad Herman. Herman's from England. All right, he's from London, born, raised, came over to the States I think at 17. Top Boy is a show based in London, a dope show. So for him to leave a show that's based in his homeland and still kick it with us tonight, that's pretty dope, right? So I'm definitely feeling that. And Top Boy's a good show. It's on Netflix. If you guys are interested, they don't pay us any money, but you know, proud Londoner is watching it tonight, and he's not watching Top Boy. He's watching the Nitty Gritty Show. So share, like, guys.
Top Boy is like that. I didn't finish it, but the episodes I did see is like that.
Yeah. It's a great show, and the final season I think is coming next year, so I'm looking forward to that. Also, other news. I know you saw the Will Smith interview.
I did.
So he's got a lot going on, right?
I saw 2 interviews actually. I saw the Trevor Noah interview, and I saw the interview with I can't think of the name of their podcast, but it's with Steven Jackson and other guy he played for LA. Light skin. They have a podcast together. Both
with Matt
players.
Barnes.
Matt Barnes, thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was on their podcast and he's talking about his new movie Emancipation, which I also saw. I did my own little thing this weekend. I will say this about being long-winded. Will Smith really, really wants, I can tell he really desperately wants the public favor again that he once had. I think that he obviously feels horrible about his decision on Oscar night, wants to move past it. But I also think that, I don't know what kind of internal work he's doing, but I think that he needs to ask the question, why do I care about the opinions of people? Why do I want to be liked so bad? And I also think he needs to ask the question, why he is trying to force someone to love him that has shown him repeatedly that they have so much toxicity that they're not going to change. Mm-hmm. I don't know what is the demise of his family, what's causing him upheaval for him to have react that day on Oscar night. But I think that if it is Jada, which I don't know, I'm speculating, he might want to. I don't condone or endorse divorce, but in the case of Will Smith, he might want to consider it.
Yeah, I don't know, because she seems toxic as all get out.
She seems crazy.
They need to sit on. Well, I'm pretty sure they've been on a couple of couches. I know one thing, that table ain't the one cutting it. You know, table ain't counting. They need to sit on a couch somewhere. And then Young Miami's show was canceled. Now, this is a whole debacle. Because Young Miami's show was canceled. Allegedly. Mm-hmm. But then also, Diddy just had a new baby. I didn't even know until
Diddy had a new baby girl named Love. He posted and said, all his kids. And everybody's like, okay, so Young Miami, they're like, here's your brick girl. Because she been posting Diddy like, me and my man, me and my boo. Diddy has never claimed Miami as his boo. You ever notice that? Now, he will kiss her publicly. He will pay for different lavish experiences and items for her. But as far as I'm concerned with Diddy having this new baby, that lets me know that Diddy been out here bobbing and weaving and doing whatever he want to do.
Nicole like, what? Diddy got a baby. Yeah, y'all. Diddy got a baby. I didn't even know.
And you know what's crazy, Juan?
I guess I've been on a rock somewhere.
Man, tell me if I'm crazy. I honestly believe that, let's say Diddy and Miami do break up. I think girls are so infatuated with the lifestyle that they were like, well, shoot, I'll be his replacement.
Shoot, look at Nick Cannon.
I think these girls would be. What do it?
Nick Cannon stayed with a new baby. Like, everybody know he got, all
so how many
kids
did he got now? Let's count. Like 7?
I think he's sitting at 6. Or is he sitting
6?
He got a few of them.
Christian, Justin.
Oh, so they're saying twins. So Nicole is saying that it might be a publicity stunt for a new album. Was there actual baby on the photo?
No, but he was listing all his kids, and he was like, my newest baby girl, Love. He didn't post the photo. He just said my newest baby girl, Love. Now maybe, but he had named all his kids.
He is coming out with an album.
He named all his kids. Maybe it's an album. Maybe it is.
Or maybe he's just dredging up, the stuff to talk about for the sake of promoting something. I mean,
honestly, I don't know. I was saying allegedly. I don't know what's true. I don't know if Young Miami show is really true. I don't know that Diddy has a baby. I just know that the streets were going crazy today when they saw him post talking about a baby girl named Love.
And then we'll talk about this in run of current news. Obviously, I know Brittany Griner was traded for the Merchant of Death.
Merchant of Death. That's a scary nickname.
Sold more AKs than a little bit. So we know that they were traded out. I think this was a poor trade by the Biden administration. I'm going to say this. We're going to keep it moving. Y'all can at me in the comments. I think it was a dumb trade. One, we have Marines over there and other operatives that are captured that we could have traded for. I mean, if you're going to give somebody like the Merchant of Death, you don't trade them for a woman who knowingly broke the law, right? And then you try to use the reason we give her a pass, but because other people broke the law too. Now, let's think about this a little critically, folks. Let's say someone out there is breaking the law. Let's say it could be something simple. Maybe you're stealing out the grocery store, candy bars, right? Now, you steal candy bars all the time out the self-checkout. You never get caught. If I go into the Giant next door right now and I steal a candy bar, one thing the police is not going to take as an excuse is, well, people still out here all the time. And they're going to be like, yeah, but you got caught today, so your behind is going to jail. That's what happened to Brittany Griner. I don't care however many people broke the law in Russia. If you knowingly broke the law, you got to be willing to deal with the consequences of breaking said law. Period. Right? So she knowingly broke the law. And I think this has something to do with American ignorance and pride. Some of us believe in this marketing of America, that we're the greatest country. And you know what? It's okay to feel that way, to have some national pride. But don't get it twisted, boo-boo. When you go to China, when you go to Germany, when you go to the Netherlands, when you go to all these different places, they have their own set of rules. And if you break those rules, you will face the consequences of said rules. How many rappers and celebrities are constantly getting locked up overseas because they want to take their American thought process, and everybody has this live your truth all you want to, but there's always going to be a truth that you will adhere to. And sometimes it's called the law, and they'll lock you behind up. I think it was a poor trade. I don't think we got much for it. An NBA player.
What do you think the consequences are going to be?
The consequences? The man gonna go back to doing what he used to do. He gonna keep on selling not AKAs. But he gonna go back to selling AK-47s again. He gonna go back to supplying various militias that may not have our best interests in mind with weapons. That's what he about to do. That's the consequence. More war. God forbid one of those AKs are used to shoot up your block, or shot at your son or daughter who's serving in the armed forces right now when they're at a conflict.
I think Biden was under pressure because of social media.
Oh yeah, the alphabet people, everybody was. He was under a lot of pressure to do stuff. But I think sometimes just because there's social pressure to do something doesn't mean it's the best thing to do. Because there's stuff that you see at a certain level that everybody else don't see. I get it. You know, he needed a win politically, right? You know, election season will be coming around again. So to have the LGBTQ community in your pocket is helpful. To have black people in your pocket is helpful. I get it. But at the end of the day, at some point you have to do the job at hand, and some people may not like it. He don't need to be caring about how I might feel about it. What he needs to care about is, well, you know, this is, we're releasing a dangerous individual back into the wild again, and we're not getting much for it. People may not like what I said, but it's true. What are we getting for Brittany Griner? And
you know, I didn't think about it. They might need him with the war versus Ukraine. That war is still going on, right?
Yeah, that conflict is still on.
So maybe they told him like, okay, we'll trade Brittany, but you got to give us this man because we know he about to give us some weapons that we need.
Yeah, you know, and obviously Brittany Griner, and this is why celebrities need to be aware of what's going on.
Yeah.
She first of all, she broke the law knowingly, and not even being aware of the fact like, hey, there's a whole war going on. Obvious that Putin used her as a tool to get something valuable back for him.
Yeah.
Obvious. So why allow yourself to be a pawn in anybody's game? All right? We need to make strategic, more informed decisions. That's all. But look, let's get down to the nitty gritty. Okay. Right? Let's get down to it. So I can make some more people upset. So anyways, the Superman and simp in charge of black women who are sometimes undeserving. I didn't say all black women are undeserving. I'm talking about a specific group of black women who are undeserving. Your champion in chief, Derrick Jackson, getting a divorce.
What does it mean when you say black women that are undeserving? What does that mean?
Come on, man. Y'all know what I mean when I say black women.
No, I don't know what you mean by that.
All right, look. There's some sisters out there. Audacity was on sale, right? And they got, 1,000 baby daddies that they never married, right? They only attract a certain kind of man because of the way they present themselves. And these are the people buying every book Derrick Jackson puts out. These are the people, every time Derrick Jackson was doing a live video from his car and he was talking trash about black men, talking about don't get yourself a man who this, don't get yourself a man who's that, blase, blase, blah, pandering to black women and their emotions. These are the black women he was pandering to, right?
But I don't know if I agree with the word undeserving as much as I think maybe these are women that are potentially hopeless romantics or maybe even, I don't want to use the word ignorant, but just not making the best decisions, not making informed decisions.
But it was a decision.
Yes, because I do think that once you have a child out of wedlock with someone who obviously is not a good father representative or father figure, why would you go out and pick another man with a similar characteristic? So these are people that obviously need to start doing more work on the couch. understanding why they're making these decisions,
Exactly.
etc. But I would not call them, you know.
That's fine, but you know the common denominator of all your bad relationships is you, right? But instead of saying, "Hey, the Kevin Samuels approach, let's work on you," because I can't fix all men for you, but we can fix you, so that way you're a better market to the men that you would want to desire.
Okay.
What did Derrick Jackson do? He made women feel good about their bad decisions. That's what a lot of times when he was pandering, that's what he was doing.
How was he different than the pastor who? Some of these pastors and pimps.
Listen, and they're no better. But today's Derrick Jackson, it's your turn to be front and center. And you know I'm part of that manosphere to a certain extent that didn't like him in the first place. So Derrick Jackson, you got our full attention today. So to give y'all some background on Derrick Jackson, for those that don't know, Derrick Jackson made some decent money probably selling books to women, empowering them, quote unquote, right? Very critical of men that cheat, very critical of men that would embarrass their women, right? Very critical of men that will exploit and do women wrong, right? Well, Derrick Jackson, like I said, the simp in charge, has just filed for divorce from his wife. He got a new boo that he was already flaunting around Miami, right? Was it Miami or somewhere in Florida, something like that?
Somewhere.
So he talks about all these no good Bamas. And Herman, you might not know who Derrick Jackson is. He's one of these what we call internet prophets. Internet prophets love giving advice from their car, never from their house. Sad thing about Derrick Jackson, he was actually doing internet advice from the transgressions of the women he was sleeping with. He just got finished cheating and then being in the car calling out dudes who cheat. That's some different kind of narcissism right there.
We didn't even know he was married for all the years he was putting out content.
Yeah,
and when we found out he was cheating, it was actually a shocker. Because people thought he was a single, we thought he was a single man.
Yo, shout out to Darnell, my bruh. He said, "Hey, Derrick Jackson, absolute trash. The things he preached on men about, he was doing himself." Exactly, right? So, anyways, was it last year or the year before last? He got caught cheating.
It was during COVID.
Yeah, it was during COVID, and he did this viral video that everybody made memes about and reenacted. He was wearing I think like a burgundy sweater. And he's up there squeezing his wife's hand. I mean, squeezing the life out of it. This is a strong brother. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't seen Derrick Jackson before. He big swole dude. Big swole brother. You know what I'm saying? Was squeezing he was like, "Listen, y'all, me and my wife," I mean, sweating. And poor thing don't got no bra on or bonnet. Had her looking an absolute hot mess. Okay? Darnell said, with her bonnet on. Okay? Had her looking a hot mess, embarrassed this woman, basically was very guilty of the very thing he preached about and made his money off. And now, managed to have his wife keep him because, I mean, his numbers was hurting as a result of this scandal. Just to, when it's all said and done, write some long lengthy posts about we're still friends. I love how we're going to care for our children. He was always preaching that a man is supposed to stay in the house with his kids. How can you truly be in the house with your kids? I've dealt with divorce in my own life. My kids don't live with me. Okay? So when your kids are not in the house, how can you ensure that your kids are being instructed the way you want? That's a fact of the matter. But this man was preaching to all of us like, "Oh, y'all dirty dogs. How dare you allow yourself to be divorced? You should do this. You should do this. You go the extra mile." And this joker worse than everyone out here.
Well, my little comment about Derrick Jackson and any pastor and any pimp and any man is that, ladies, do your due diligence to make sure that what they are saying is in alignment with how they truly are acting in real life. There have been too many countless stories of women who give him money and just holding on to every word of a man. Don't do that. Don't make a man your savior. Don't go to a man for advice. Obviously, seek your own woman intuition. Take some advice from men, but at the same time, the men that you're taking advice from, they got to be proven.
Yeah.
If this whole time the man was talking, we never even knew he was married, that's a problem. Any man that's married don't post a wife at all or a girlfriend at all, you should question.
Yeah, I always say any married man or any man in a relationship or anyone in a long-term relationship, some of y'all out here, I hope you watch this video eventually because I've been checking your IG. I see you all the time, but I don't see no girlfriend. But anyways, I feel like if a man is in a relationship that's supposed to be known and open, right? Same thing for women. Y'all ain't no different.
Especially marriage.
If y'all in a relationship, I should be able to look at your social media and with a few scrolls, I should be able to tell, oh, this brother in a relationship. Oh yeah, this brother got kids. Whatever. If I can't tell looking at your social media that's the case, that's a problem. Don't at me. Look at the man in the mirror. Okay? And you go fix that person. Don't get mad at me. You know what I'm saying?
He said,
okay, so Gary, you know what? Now that is a good question. Gary Berry said, what about the partner who's anti-social media? Well, that might be a little different, right? But then at the same time, let's say that you're not posting your woman on social media. Even with that, there's a certain way that you're presenting yourself, though. You're making it clear, I'm not out here for these streets. I know some people, men and women, right? Even the stuff they post as individuals, it's like, are you for the streets or not? You got girls sometimes with their booty cheeks out. You got dudes out here with the chest all out, trying to impress something, right? Now, if you and your wife have an understanding, that's what y'all cool with. Hey, I can't speak on your relationship, but just as a general rule, very like bird's eye level. What are we doing here? Like, are you married or not? Okay, like just be honest with it. Darnell made some good points out here. He said, I just want to know how he was doing all this and his wife never knew. That's interesting. Makes no sense. Even if she wasn't on social media, there should have been folk in their community that could have seen the issue. Good point. And then Gary Berry said, big back, cats at home and not alone. Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I don't know. It's just like, if you're going to be out here, we should be able to tell what you about. And that's crazy to me, but people have gotten away with it worse. So,
Well, he wants a divorce. So he want to be able to do his thing without being committed. So there you go.
Exactly.
Which, look, if you know you're not going to be committed, then I say get a divorce.
Or
I say get a divorce. If you know you're not going to be committed, just go ahead and get a divorce.
Or if you're out there living that lifestyle, because we know there's a lot of poly and all that stuff going on. If that's what you're about, then it needs to be clear and openly communicated to the person you with. But a lot of these people ain't clearly communicating. I only know a few people that communicate that, and it's an actual understanding. I hear a lot of dudes say, oh, I can have friends until their wife find out they got a friend.
And then they get nervous.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. If you about it, be about it. But guess what? Most cats only got enough game to pull that off.
They ain't about it.
Yeah, they ain't really about that life. Next thing, because like I said, they out here doing the most this holiday season. So we got to talk about Deion Sanders.
Okay.
Deion Sanders has gotten a lot of attention, right? So let's get into this Deion Sanders thing. So a lot of people are upset because Deion Sanders is leaving JSU, Jackson State University in Mississippi. Which is a HBCU. He was there for 3 years, brought a lot of attention to the program. Program is doing really well under his leadership, right? He's leaving with him. He's taking his son, who's the quarterback. Okay. Unfortunately, there's some kids that are already committed there, like some wide receivers, some cornerbacks who are doing really well. Mm-hmm. So, there's some people upset about that. People in the area, people just on the outside looking in are like, he was going to change how one man was going to change how HBCUs are perceived by the whole world. And he's doing this. He's not for the people. I thought he was down for the cause. Even got some criticism from Dr. Umar Johnson, who I'm going to talk more about here shortly. But let's just break down the numbers. And then I want to just ask some questions. And I want you guys to be real tonight. So let's talk about the JSU contract or the money situation. JSU gave him $1.2 million for 4 years. So that would be $300,000 a year, right? He gave half his salary, that's $600,000, to help fix the facilities at the school. Mm-hmm. Also, Jackson State was very slow to give him a lot of the things he felt like he needed for his kids to perform at the next level, if we was going to take them there, right? They were slow to do a lot of different things. This is what he's putting out, his side of the story. Also, we know that because he only did 3 out of the 4 years, he has to pay back $300,000 back to JSU. If you break that down, half of the money is gone to fix the school. That's $600,000. Then the other $300,000 he has to give back. That's $900,000 out of $1.2 million. That means that brother got $300,000 over the course of 3 years. That's only $100,000. After he pays taxes, he's lucky if he's bringing home $65,000. This is Deion Prime Sanders, one of the best NFL players we have seen ever. Ever. And he allowed himself for 3 years just to make $100,000. Some of you right now have bachelor's degrees and won't allow yourself to go to a job making less than $100,000. I know plenty of people making more than $100,000. And Deion Prime Sanders, you guys are upset that he said, hey, Colorado, he told you at the very beginning, if he gets entertained with a top program, he's going to entertain it. He said that from the very beginning. And just to understand what he went to, the University of Colorado offered him a $29.5 million deal over 5 years. 29.5. And if Colorado fires Sanders at any point without cause, the school would owe him 75% of whatever that remaining contract is. That means worst case scenario, the brother walks away with about $22 million. So I have to ask everybody listening, what would you do if you was Deion Sanders? Would you stay at that HBCU? Would you stay at that black employment? Whatever it is, I don't care if it's a shoe store, if you're in law, if you're at a clinic, whatever the case is, do you stay working at the black church, whatever the case is, do you stay there making $100,000 when another entity, whether it is white, because Colorado's enrollment is less than 1.6 black, but do you leave when they're offering you literally about 20 times the amount of money that your current job is paying? 20 times, y'all. If you make $50,000 a year, that would be like $1 million. 20 times the amount.
I think, so I have two minds about this.
Okay.
The first one is, we live in a capitalist society. Inflation is going to continue to rise. A regular individual, regular American, we leave jobs all the time to go get something, to go get more money, go get the bag or whatever, right? Think about it. How many times when you look on your resume, you're not staying at a job for more than 5 years, and if you are, typically it's because they're continuing to pay you more money. Okay? I am not mad at Deion Sanders for going to Colorado State. Is that what it is? Colorado State?
I think it's University of Colorado.
University of Colorado. I'm not mad about it. I think that he showed others, meaning other ex-NFL players, that if the NFL won't hire you to be a main coach, there is an opportunity for you to take your talents, your knowledge, and pour back into an HBCU, whereas we can start to recruit black talent and hopefully use this opportunity to get the revenue needed to make these schools equally as attractive in recruiting black and retaining black talent versus them going to a white school or PWI.
Yeah.
So I think that Deion Sanders, if anything, he showed the path that other people can take. It's not, one man can't do it all by himself.
No. And you know, and let me go to the comments real quick too, because I got some good comments in here. Shout out to Herman. He said, Deion Sanders, no problem with him leaving. He's leaving the place better than where it was. Enough said. Yeah, there's a lot of kids now who have a renewed interest in going to a HBCU after seeing the locker room, after seeing the games, right? And one comment, and I'm going to skip back up. Gary Berry said, yeah, he gave a blueprint. Shout out to Gary Berry again. He said, no church in the wild. At Darnell, shaking my head. Definitely need to discuss this disrespect towards the sisterhood because it's trash. Facts. I think we're going to have a further conversation on that on the show. Herman said, a great deal of opportunity for Deion. Darnell Davis said, yes, I'm out. If he gets offered that kind of money, hey, and I'm out. All right. So, and then Gary Berry said, someone got to feed these kids. I did what I could when I could.
The thing is, at least we forget, he stood 10 toes down. Well, now he's down 2 toes.
Yeah.
So he stood 8 toes down.
Yeah.
For literally, like, I'm not gonna be funny. He literally, his health has been impacted during this time of his tenure being a coach, and was still committed to these young men. And he spoke to them not like, I'm a coach and you're here. He spoke to them like inspiring them, like a father figure. So anyway, I feel like he should get the bag, take his talents to Colorado, show people that if the NFL won't pay me, I can go elsewhere and make money. Least we forget, we didn't even talk about it. OSU, Nick Saban, these other coaches are making millions.
Making millions of dollars a year, right?
And they're not ex-NFL players.
Yeah.
So why do they get paid that much money? And Deion Primetime Sanders,
one of the best to ever do it,
gotta beg and plead Jackson State to do the things that he's asking them to do. And people getting mad. They didn't even have sold out tickets, season tickets. Yeah. Every game wasn't sold out.
And that's another thing too. Now the whole time Deion is there, why isn't the community of Jackson selling out every darn game? Right? Where is the onus? And don't get me wrong, I don't want to kick us down, but at some point we got to be real with us, right? How many of us go to schools, right? Now we'll go to homecoming, fly Gucci down to our socks, Da Vinci. You know what I'm saying? Got a nice little thing on our wrist. Givenchy, right? They fly, fresh to death. Y'all know how black people do. We don't wear clothes, we wear outfits. Okay? We put pieces together like nobody else's business, right? But when it's time to, when the folks are hitting us up, hey, can you give some money to the XYZ building? Because y'all know every black institution got a building fund.
Silent.
All of a sudden it gets quiet. Well, you know, hey, can you give some money back to the school? Can you help us out with this program? Can you come back and donate? And all of a sudden it's like, well, okay. But when it's time to stroll, and when it's time to, you know, be in some colors at the school and having a good time, oh, we there to party. Oh, we gonna step out and do, you know, all of our little dances and all of that. Right? But then when it's time to give some money consistently, when no eyes are on us, then what happens? But we mad at Deion Sanders.
Okay, but I gotta play devil's advocate because I started off the conversation saying I had two minds about the situation. Mm-hmm. Did I not? Okay.
You did.
That's the first mind. The second mind is, in some ways, I feel like as black people, when we think about our history in the U.S., this always happens. Let's take Motown, for instance. We had so much talent going through Motown, doing really well, and then what happened? The white record label folks were coming over and saying, but I can offer you more. And what happened? Slowly but surely, people said, well, I got to go where the bag is at. So at some point, I do want to acknowledge that just because someone is offering you a bigger bag does not mean that you relinquish your station to the greater good of the community. I'm not saying that Deion Sanders did that, but what I am saying is that more often than not in our community, we do relinquish our station and we don't think, how can I stay down for the greater good of the community? I think if more of us as a collective stayed down for the greater good of the community, we would see much more progress. Because when you look at the Asian community, you can offer them a bag, but if they saying I'm rocking with Chinese or I'm rocking with Japanese, they're not going to come where the bag is at.
But I will say this.
They're just not.
This goes to something that one of my Jewish mentors gave me. He said, you know, Juan, you can go out there and march and stuff all you want, but sometimes it's just better to write a check. You know? So, and this is a community as well that's done really well insulating themselves and taking care of them.
Yeah, but they also support their own community.
That's
true.
So
it's easy for him to say that. He can write a check when people are pouring into him from the community to help him write the check. So what I'm saying is, I'm not telling folks that you shouldn't go and get the bag, but what I am saying is, why do we always feel like because a bigger company that has more assets, that offers us more, we should just go over there to it? It's the same thing as like a black law firm or a white law firm. Mm-hmm. People are like, oh, they're not paying me enough. But sometimes it's about, my thing is, maybe initially they can't pay you enough, but how do you expand the vision so that one day they can pay people who look like you enough?
That segues to another part of the conversation I want to talk about, Dr. Umar Johnson, right? Because there's some overlapping themes here. Dr. Umar Johnson was just recently in the Breakfast Club. They brought him on to talk about everything from Kanye, Kyrie, also his school, right? And finally his school is underway. It's funny because Dr. Umar Johnson, if for those that don't know, he calls himself the Prince of Pan-Africanism, right?
I just want to know, how do you give yourself your own name? No one's running around the comments saying Prince of Africanism.
Hey,
he gave himself that tag.
But no one's also. I mean, it's no different than rappers saying I'm the king of the South. That's what T.I. did. Now Ludacris was like, nah, I don't think so. And for y'all who don't know, I've always been more team Ludacris over T.I. That's me personally. At me in the comments if you got to. But I always thought Ludacris was a better rapper than T.I. I know I'm going to get hit with a lot of stuff, but I feel like Ludacris is a better punchline rapper. All right? Just saying. But he self-claimed himself the prince, the king of the South, and then Jay-Z gave him a stamp.
I don't, look. Move on. What Umar got to say? Because I don't know. These tags be killing me with these names. And Darnell's comment was dope, though. He said, we relinquish the station, but aren't lawyered up to get the best contracts, and we sometimes chase the money and get a worse deal, which is facts. I think in Deion's case, his contract was more savvy. He wants to come like many folks, which is true. We do run. A lot of us can't even afford our own funerals.
Yeah.
Okay? Ain't no reason why Chadwick Boseman knew he had cancer and didn't have a will.
And then with all these,
ain't no way.
And with all these deaths we've had in the black celebrity community, we see that Offset. Takeoff.
Yeah.
He dies with no will.
No will.
And you out here living a life, and I get it. Takeoff was no thug and no gangster. He never claimed to be for those that know him. But at the same time, you're in situations around people with less than savory character. You should have definitely been thinking, no way, any day I could catch a stray. All these rappers that have been killed and shot at, and you never thought to yourself, let me get a will?
Was it you?
God bless the dead, but let's speak on that.
There was somebody, was it you or somebody I was talking to? It was when we went to dinner with our mentor. And they were talking about the lawyer, like, every time, these black rappers die, the lawyers were like, this is an easy check.
Easy check.
All they gotta do is represent them in court. It's not even like they gotta do anything. They ain't gotta study, they ain't gotta do nothing. Just show up.
Yeah.
They gonna walk away with a couple $100,000.
Walk away with a bag. It's easy money because you already can almost predict the situations and pitfalls they're gonna allow themselves to become a part of. And that ends up hurting them. So anyways, Dr. Umar Johnson broke down those situations, but then he talked about his school. He's been working on his school forever, and it's kind of funny because he tried his best to say, listen, this is going to be a black school, black money. He got the black money, but he was trying to get a black contractor, and the Prince of Pan-Africanism could not find a black person that would do right by him, contractor in his state. He said he talked to a lot of great contractors. We got some great ones that go to Kingdom Fellowship with us here in the Maryland area, but he couldn't find any in the Carolina area at that level that could do the work that was needed. Unfortunately, he said he had to hire some white folks, and they got the job done. Within 3 months, what was taking the black contractors 3 years, he got done in 3 months with the white contractors. So it was kind of one of those things that even the Prince of Pan-Africanism was like, man, hey, I know I try to be all black and everything, but he's like, sometimes I got to work with my white brothers and sisters. That's what he ended up saying. Something else he talked about was the fact that, and I've said this on multiple occasions, he felt like Kanye is not the best voice. There's a lot of people still rocking with Kanye. And guess what?
God.
It's all right for us as a people to rock with people no matter what, because other communities do it. So why can't our community be varied? Even the president of the Anti-Defamation League was saying that there are some Jewish people of the Jewish community that are super conservative, others who are super liberal. So why is it that with black people, we can't be varied in thought? If you want to support Kanye still, you should be able to, despite whatever he did. And if you want to be against him, you should be able to, because once again, according to the CEO of the Anti-Defamation League, there are people out there in the Jewish community that are very varied. Some of them are super conservative and support Trump. And then there are some out there who are super liberal and think a different way. So we're not going to always be this monolithic group of people that everybody has to vote the same and think the same.
Yeah.
If you still support Kanye, you think that he's dropping knowledge and he's exposing, you're allowed to have that prerogative. You are.
We want to rock with him. But
I kind of agree with Umar on this situation. I don't think that he was the most articulate person to have this conversation. You have to be careful with your words and everything you say. You may mean a thing, but once you start saying something and using symbolism, it could be taken out of context. And if you can't speak to context, maybe you should shut up. And that's my thought process on Kanye. But that's me. Y'all don't have to agree with me. I think he should have shut his mouth up forever.
What you call he even volunteered to speak with him on his behalf? Eric Dyson.
But
that's the best person that would. He literally said, "Bro, Kanye, call me if you need me to help convey some thoughts for you. I'm here." Like, that's the best spokesperson ever.
Like, one thing I gotta say about my man Michael Eric Dyson, there is no more prolific orator today than I think the brother Michael. That brother can talk, and the fact that he can spit rhymes and verses in context of literature really back to back. I only wish that one day I could rise to this height of a Dr. Michael Eric Dyson. All right, that is one of the people I look up to. Shout out to Darnell. He said, "Give Chadwick some grace when the situation comes about where you are terminal. It's very difficult to put together estate planning because it's tough on the mental, personal experience." I could get that. Darnell Davis said, "You can't always rely on your people to do right by you." Facts. Herman was agreeing. And then shout out to Gary Berry. He said, "I think if you try to support black first, you get the opportunity to get the best." Yes. And then he said, "Because I personally try black minority, whoever can do the work." Oh, and I rock with that for sure.
Yeah. And I want to say too, I do give Chadwick some grace, but I think he's a prime example of right now, even as we're young, Juan can tell you, I'm on my husband's behind. Like, hey, we got to make sure we get this life insurance, get our will together. I'm talking about it on a daily basis. Because my thing is, who's to say I can go into the car, get in a car accident? I want my husband to grieve, but have money while he's grieving, and vice versa. At the end of the day, there's no reason why wealth is passed down. And a lot of times, as Black people, I feel like we have lots of funerals, and then we're struggling to pay off burial things. Yeah. We're taking on debt. I feel like if you have your house in order, at the very least, when death does come, you can grieve and you don't have to worry about how you're going to afford your next meal, afford your home, or whatever else, like other communities do. So the standard should be life insurance. Standard should be setting a will. Like, even have a paper one, and then, go talk to a professional, get it validated, and just have something set in place, because life is never a guarantee.
Yeah. A lot of people big up at the life insurance and the combo of having a trust. That's important to have. And then, but he did talk about one other thing. I'm going to spend a little bit of time on this before we close out. He talked about reparations, right? He didn't break down the international value of what reparation is, but he did talk about reparations. Okay. I wanted to break this down for people because reparations is becoming a conversation that I think a lot of politicians are going to use as a way to pander to get certain votes, right? Obviously in California right now, they're talking about issuing a $233,000 check to those out there. He actually broke that down, and he brought up a good point. What's the point of just paying money when you can devalue the worth of that dollar through inflation, right? There's going to be a lot of politicians talking reparations and saying they're supported. Here's the facts you need to be armed with when we go into reparations, so that way you understand it. And shouting out our Jewish brothers and sisters, they have received this international version of reparations. That's why in Germany it is illegal to post the things and say the things that Kanye has said, right? And you're going to see this mentioned as we go through it. I'll break this down first. Reparations refer to the different ways to restore victims after the violations they have suffered. Individual culprits may be ordered to provide reparations because they inflicted the harm, but also state institutions for their acts breaking international law or failing to prevent crimes. So when we're talking reparations, the best place for us to have this argument outside of the U.S. Supreme Court or through Congress or the House is also through the UN.
I was thinking
because this is and mind you, I'm getting this definition through the UN because this was a national problem against Black people. Yes. If you came here on a boat via slavery to the Caribbean,